Hello, I'm Ben Carroll, and I'm in a mass media class, and I'm doing a presentation for the final of fall of 2015. What I'm talking to you about today is how media affects the males. So, the normal stereotype would be that media mainly affects females. It does, but what it talks about in the women is that their figure, how they look, how they're supposed to look, what size they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to eat. They get, they're not, if they're in public, they probably shouldn't eat that because they'll probably get, laughed at or talked about, things like that. Promiscuity, if they're, what they need to wear to not look promiscuous, but right now in this day and age, it's probably what they should be wearing to make themselves look promiscuous, which morally doesn't seem very right. So that's more forced upon them through the media. And the normal behaviors of women, which would be shopping, doing makeup, just doing girly things, like always, when you're a teen, always talking about boys, and sometimes it's even like not playing sports, not being very sporty. You're a girl, you shouldn't be. So things like that are pressure on them. However, males are, the stereotype is that males aren't affected by media. Like, it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't mean anything. The standard would be, no fear, no emotions, and no insecurities for men. So that's what men are looked like through, or thought about through the media. Here's a video. So that is a Pepsi Max commercial about men getting hurt, but they don't cry or don't show any emotion. However, obviously we should do that. So media through those kind of ads show us that we shouldn't. So in PsychCentral.com it says that centuries ago men used to cry as a positive impact towards their audiences. Example, medieval warriors and Japanese samurais would actually cry in front of the people that followed them to show them that they can mourn. This is the time to be mourning. Abraham Lincoln used tears in his speeches whenever it was the right timing for him to show that he cared and he loved the people and was passionate about what he was talking about. Now media tells us, the males, that we shouldn't show our emotions. We can't cry. We need to hold it all back. That's what being a real man is. TVs, movies, and ads say that it's just frowned upon pretty much. Ron Swanson right here is a character in the TV show Parks and Recreation, and he has many quotes about how men should act towards things. One of them is crying, acceptable at funerals in the Grand Canyon. That's it. Homer Simpson says men don't have feelings, men have muscles. So instead of having feelings or crying, we should hold that back and just show our muscles. In addition to that, physical appearance is a big one in men, actually. Not just women are affected by media with their physical appearance. CommonSenseMedia.org states that 33 to 35% of boys think that their ideal body is actually thinner than what their current body looks like, and that was at ages 6 till 10. So that's just going till they're 10. It just gets worse when you get into high school and college and so forth. Males are always seeing models with features that they think that they need to be a strong guy, and those include six-pack abs, the perfect scruff or the perfect beard for their girlfriends, no fat on their body ever, it's just all muscle, no body hair, excluding the facial hair in their hair, their head. It's supposed to be your chest, supposed to be perfect, and no, always shaved, and giant muscles. They think that all their arms and their legs always has to be just pure muscle, which is pretty much unable to achieve without Photoshop. This is a perfect example. Liam Hemsworth in Men's Fitness. Obviously, you can see in this magazine cover, his hair is flawless. His facial hair is that perfect, right now, stereotype of scruff that he has going on. The waist is so much smaller than his arms, which, yeah, he's a strong guy, but the way they photoshopped and cropped this photo is just almost unable to actually look like this without editing photos and having multiple trainers make your body look perfect, which he's a famous guy, so he obviously has that. So due to these kind of stereotypes in magazines, even movies like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I mean a bunch of other people, this is the stereotype that men have through all these kinds of media inputs. And somebody told me, like, when they saw this, it's not fitness if it's photoshopped. So this, this isn't real fitness if they Photoshop and edit this photo. I thought that was a really good point. The last thing was how men act. So many advertisements portray men as womanizers when they have like really nice things of quality like cars and sometimes homes and different things like that. A lot of times it's cars. They always walk out with the tuxedos on, and they have the ladies next to them, and so like you have to have a girl with you when you're like have the nice car. You're not supposed to listen to the females, and you're not supposed to tell like you're supposed to tell your wives and girlfriends like what they're supposed to do, and not really, you're not supposed to pay attention to them, things like that. And men should be one with nature. They should hunt and like sports, and they need to drive a truck. That's a big one. So right here, it's a clothing store advertising their clothes, but he's hanging his hat on a giant deer's antler, and he's out in the mountains. So you're supposed to, it says at home and nature, so it's supposed to be in nature. And this one is a Chevy commercial where these girls were in a room and they said, which guy would you prefer? They said this one, because he's a truck. So as you can see, the media has affected men in many ways, especially now, so it doesn't just affect women, it is very much influential on men.